Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Jazwares Pokemon Select Charizard. And I wasn't going to get into this line at all, and I'm probably not going to, other than to review it for you guys. Or maybe to grab a few things to throw into my Smash collection. But this is a relatively inexpensive line that kind of competes with the SH Figuarts line that is now apparently done with. So this might be a good option for those of you looking to grab a Charizard figure without spending too much money. So that's why we're going to look at it. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. And this guy stands in this pose, by the way. Of course, you can straighten his head up a little bit if you wanted to adjust his hips, but I'm going to leave him like this because I consider that a more neutral pose. Let's say about 5.5, depending again how you have him posed. That'll make him, let's say, 14.5 centimeters. I know those don't line up exactly, but that's close enough. So this guy, it's definitely not on par with your SH Figuarts, and mine is buried away in moving boxes, so I can't show you, but I can show you I have reviewed both versions, I believe, and I'll have those links up there, so if you want to do a quick comparison, you can do that. But I'll tell you, those are going for $100 to $200 to $300, depending on when you look. This guy's 25 bucks at Walmart, and I think he's discounted right now down to like 17. So that's why we're looking at it. All right, okay. So it is just molded orange plastic everywhere that you see orange, and that's a good thing. It matches for the most part. The main body is not exactly the same as every other piece, but it's going to be so close that if you don't have studio lighting, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. You do have the painted stomach, and it's very nicely painted all the way through the bottoms of the feet and the bottom of the tail. It's actually very smooth. There's no real problems with that. It's a nice clean line, no problems there. The claws are painted hands and feet. The insides of the wings are painted this nice blue, and it's a nice flat finish for the wings. Same thing for the stomach, very nicely done, no problem there at all. And we do have the tail fire, which is not painted particularly well, but it gets the job done. It looks okay. And then lastly, we have the face, which has the tampography eyes. They look pretty good. They're nice and clean, no problems there. They're placed well. I like that. That looks good. And we do have the mouth with the pink tongue, white teeth, and red surround. Nothing on the top of the... Oh yeah, there is. Okay, cool. I didn't think there was, but there is. There's some red up there too. So it looks good. For what it is, it's very nice. The sculpts are clean. And I didn't do a question of the day, so let's do that. Which starter type are you typically? Fire for me. It's always been fire. It always will be fire. Charizard's the man. And, well, that's not true. I prefer Decidueye in Sun and Moon. Anyway, I'm generally a fire starter type, if I have the choice. Okay, or you can just do Gen 1, then definitely fire starter, even though Blastoise is the way to go. Okay, so there he is. That's the aesthetic part done. He looks good. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10 for the price point. I think that's very nice. There's a few things I would change, but overall, it's pretty darn good. I like it. All right. Okay, so as far as accessories go, we just get the display stand, which is not bad for a $25 figure like this that I was expecting to not come with anything. It's got a really robust stand with 2 hinges, and obviously it swivels at both ends. That's good. The problem with the stand is, and I need to show you the package to talk to you about that, is the stand on here goes in at an angle between his legs so that it doesn't have just a hole right here in his peeper area. So that's the thing. We do have the hole in the peeper, and then the way the stand is, it sticks straight in, obviously, rather than coming in at an angle. So it could look better, I think. It's not really the best planning, I suppose, but I guess it's better than nothing. I think it would have been okay for them to put a hole all the way back here. Maybe if it was a little deeper. I can't talk about this without it sounding weird, but I think they could have worked the stand in a little bit better, is all I'm going to say about that. And so that's okay. It's fine. No fire effect, which would have been nice, especially at a $25 price point, even though it is all new molding and everything. A fire effect would have been pretty darn cool. So I'm going to go 7 out of 10. That's still generous considering it did get a flight stand, but no fire is a bummer. Okay, now let's talk about the articulation. The head is on a swivel hinge, so it can look up and it can look down a little bit, and they did a pretty good job incorporating the lump in the neck for the hinge so that it kind of goes with the sculpt, so that's okay. And of course it does rotate on there. The mouth the mouth does open and close. He looks a little derpy with it closed, but I imagine you're going to have it open anyway, so that's fine. No problems there. The neck does also have another swivel hinge, so it poses well enough. Like it'll be okay. For being a much more inexpensive figure, I think that looks pretty good. I like it. Shoulders have your standard ball hinge, so you get your rotation and your hinge. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow, that's all awesome. Perfectly happy, although I just, as I bent the arm, it stressed the plastic. So be careful when you're bending your arm. If you go too far up, it's gonna just put marks on the plastic. That sucks. I guess that arm is staying bent. Okay, well, you get that, and then you do get a wrist swivel. Now, this kind of thing bugs me because it's like these companies don't think about the engineering. This is a swivel, which means there's a physical connection between this hand and this piece, but it is a separate piece. But all we get is a swivel out of it, when all they had to do was this piece, which had to be here anyway, could have just had a big ball on the end. And this could have had a cavity in it, and you would have had a ball hinge and given yourself actual posability rather than just a swivel. Not a ball hinge, I'm sorry, a ball peg. So there's no need for that. This piece here just needed a ball that stuck out of it. And then the hand would move around on that perfectly. Instead, we don't get much range because of the way it is. So that kind of sucks. There's just no reason for it. It would not have cost them anything. Would have been easy to engineer. This is PVC. It feels like it's PVC. It's pretty flexible. I think it's PVC. Should have been done, but it was not. It's okay as is, but again, it's just because it doesn't cost anything that it bothers me so much. Now for the hips, it's kind of hard for me to say exactly what's going on in here. It looks to me like there's a full-on ball hinge in there. Do you see that? It looks like it, but it doesn't seem very useful. Unless I guess mine was just rotated poorly. But yeah, it looks like you get a full-on ball hinge for the hip, which is pretty cool. You're not going to get a ton of range going forward, of course, because it is Charizard. But it does go back. Like, it works pretty well. And technically, there's a thigh swivel in there. So, yeah, it's going to give you enough. There's a hinge for the knee, of course, which, again, you're not going to get a ton of range out of that, but it's there. Then you get a hinge for the ankle, which is good. That gives you a ton of range. And you get a swivel for the ankle rocker. Now, this one's very loose. This one is only a little bit loose. So that kind of sucks, but he's most likely going to be balanced on his tail, since it goes down so far anyway. Or his feet are just going to be posed like he's flying. So it shouldn't be a problem. The engineering's there, it's just not that well executed, but I think it's okay. Now we'll get to let's just do the wings actually. The wings just have a hinge right here. There's no rotation this way, so you can't make them go up or down at all. But the hinge works nicely, and then you get the other hinge here, which of course doesn't have the blue all the way because it can't, or you'd see it on the outside. But if you go this way, it works well enough if you wanted it to. So you get some posability if you wanted that. I would probably just leave the wings out like this, or go like that. Like, that's pretty much all you need. But it works, that's fine. For the tail, you get a swivel hinge. So you get the rotation this way if you want it. You get the hinge that goes up or down. Now, of course, you're probably not going to want to do that too much, but you do get that, and same thing down here. So it's pretty effective. Like, I don't think anybody would ever want to pose the tail like that, but you could. It looks awkward. If you rotate it, you're going to have the yellow on top. You don't want that. So I don't know that it's practically that useful, but as far as the engineering goes, it poses pretty well. It's fine. It could be better, but not by a whole lot. I like it. It's pretty darn good for the price point and being a whole new thing. I think they did a good job with this guy. So the articulation on this guy is not perfect by any means and could be better, but it's not too bad. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think they did a good job. And now I'll give it a final verdict. I think for being a much cheaper alternative to the SH Figuarts or the D-Arts Charizard, I think this thing is just perfect. It is exactly what it needs to be. That doesn't mean it doesn't have any flaws, but I'm saying as a suitable replacement, it's perfect as a replacement. A cheaper, less quality figure, but definitely one that'll fill the spot in just fine. So I'm going to be happy throwing him in my Smash Brothers collection and leaving my D-Arts or SH Figuarts one in my Pokemon collection. That's my plan. That's what I would recommend you guys do too, if you want to do that sort of thing. Okay, so final verdict on this guy, considering everything, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know that they all average up, but sometimes the whole is worth more than the parts. And I think this guy is an 8 out of 10 as far as a cheap but nice Charizard figure. I think it's pretty darn good, and I might even get Articuno in hopes that they do Zapdos and Moltres also. They have a few others. Who do we have? I'd get Rayquaza, but I'm like, he's going to be so far out of skill, it's kind of silly. I might even get a Greninja for Smash also. Ooh, yes. Maybe I will. You guys want to see some more Smash Brothers reviews? Maybe I'll get Greninja for Smash, and maybe I'll grab Articuno just to do the legendary birds. That sounds like fun. I think we'll do that. Alright guys, let me know if you want more Pokemon reviews. I'll do it either way probably, but I'd like to know if you want to see them. And that'll do it. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.